And welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrow in the Field. And we are switching codes to the flat this week on the Podblast, turning our attention to the flat season opener at Doncaster, covering 3 races from their Saturday card, including the big race of the day, the Lincoln Handicap, before taking our usual trek up to Scotland for the next round of our Football Trixie Battle, top, middle and bottom. Racing first, though, and to Doncaster we go, starting with the William Hill Spring Mile, over 1 mile, due off at 1:50. First of our 3 races under analysis this week. Ben, welcome along, and can you start us off with that one?
Yeah, morning, Tony. Yep, the William Hill Spring Mile. Quick word about the draw and pace for this one, because it's a straight track, big field blast. Fired up GeeGeez Gold pace map for the race. To my eye, looks like there could potentially be a bias to those drawn middle or high. Early pace might just come from stalls 10, 11, 12, 15 and 20. The single figure stalls, they don't look to have a huge amount of pace horses. Although pressures on might possibly give them something to aim for from stall 6. Overall, I'd probably just sway towards the middle or high stalls. Although, as always, it'll depend how they split once the stalls open. On the race trends front, 11 of the last 12 winners all met the following. Aged 4 or 5, with no more than 25 career starts and 0 to 1 starts in the past 90 days. Using those as my starting point, I've come up with a short list of Nay Point, Ocean of Dreams and Deborah's Dream. Nay Point comes here as a horse on the up and still one with untapped potential. He's won 3 of his 4 handicap starts so far, including his 1 previous start over this course and distance. A £5 rise he received for his win at Redcar on his final start last season still has him on a mark I think is likely below the ceiling of his abilities. And Nay Point is one of the likely pace angles in the race, and this has been won by runners bang on the front end. 3 of the last 12 winners front run, and 4 of the last 12 sat just off the pace. So going from the front is certainly a tactic that can pay dividends in the Spring Mile. And Nay Point is high in my thoughts. Ocean of Dreams, he has his first start for Archie Watson here after moving from Aidan O'Brien. Also been gelded since his last run. He's wearing first-time cheek pieces and he makes his handicap debut, so plenty going on for Ocean of Dreams here. He's a little bit tricky to figure out right now, but I'd be surprised if Archie Watson didn't manage to land a decent handicap with him off or around his mark of 90. Maybe a small concern that he's drawn low in stall 3, if my thinking is correct, and middle to high is the place to be. And Deborah's Dream is the other on my shortlist. He also comes here off the back of a gelding operation. In fact, all 3 on my shortlist are running here on first start off a gelding operation, the poor buggers. Deborah's Dream is having only his 4th run for Jenny Candlish. She didn't manage to get a win into him on his first 3 runs for the yard after moving from Roger Varian. But 2 of those runs came on soft ground and 2 of them came over strips of 1 mile 2. I think he's potentially better on good to softer quicker and over 7 furlongs to a mile. So chances are he'll be better suited to the condition he meets with here. Warren Fentiman takes a ride for the first time, and he's got some solid stats for Jenny Candlish from limited chances. His 9 rides for the yard have produced 4 wins and 3 places. And he's a jockey that's catching the eye a little recently, and no claiming jockey has won more races on the all-weather since the turn of the year than Warren Fentiman. Indeed, only 9 jockeys in total have ridden more all-weather winners than him in 2025. So his £5 claim could be a big positive for Deborah's Dream here. I'm going to play the 2, I think, and hope have the best of the draw from my shortlist. So Nay Point at around 7 to 1, 8 to 1 in stall 15, and Deborah's Dream at around 20 to 1 or bigger in stall 12. So Nay Point and Deborah's Dream for me. Tony, what you got for the Spring Mile?
I've got the Steph Hollinshead trained mile, who's a course winner. Actually won here back in October in a handicap off a £8 low mark. Beat 16 rivals by 1 3/4 lengths, including Thunder Raw. at around 12 to 1. I think that's a decent each way price for Mile, the mount of David Allen. Won his last, this gelding by Al Kazim has won his last 4, dating back to August last year, and his couple of wins in September, and then, as I say, his last win last time out at Doncaster over 7 furlongs. I think the step up to a mile will suit him as well, and I think he can go well from stall 10. Our Havana for Richard Fye and Oisin Orr is around 12 to 1 as well. He actually won Havana Gold gelding, won in March on the all-weather. He's been on the all-weather. It's not a great record for those coming from the all-weather, but I do fancy our Havana to go well and finish in the first 4 or 5. Goes well at Southall, as he has been this year since the turn of the year. He's finished, he beat 10 rivals in January. He finished 6th of 11, only beaten 3 3/4 lengths in February, and then won in March earlier this month, just 2 weeks ago, beating 7 rivals by 5.5 lengths off a £5 lower mark. So our Havana can go well at around 12 to 1, and the same Mile can go well at around 12 to 1 in that race. The 150, the 225 at Doncaster Cammidge Trophy Stakes, listed race over 6 furlongs here, Ben.
Yeah, 2 I like in this, Tony. Marshman and Spycatcher. Marshman gets his prime conditions to shoot for at Group 3 level or below over 5.5 to 6 furlongs, where he is 5 wins and a second from 7 starts. The second came in this last year by a neck. That was on soft ground, which probably doesn't seem quite at his best. He was beaten by Montasib that day, who went on to land the Group 1 Sprint Cup later in the season. So it's a strong piece of course and distance form in the book for Marshman. And he does come here in strong form. He's had 3 starts on the all-weather so far this year, winning 2 of them and going down by half a length in the other. Those were his first run since undergoing a wind up last summer, and that does seem to have kicked him into some of the best form of his career. And Marshman looks to hold a strong chance in this, I think. Spycatcher makes his seasonal debut here. He holds strong form in returning off breaks of more than 90 days. He is 3 wins and a close third from 4 starts off those types of breaks, and he should be ready to fire in this. He also holds a strong form line at listed level and below in fields of 10 or less, where he is 4 wins, 2 seconds and a third from 7 starts. So plenty in Spycatcher's favour here, I think. I'm not going to try and split that pair, so I'm going to play both Marshman and Spycatcher. Both have conditions in their favour. Both look to hold a strong chance to my eye. So Marshman on Spycatcher for me, Tony. What you got for the Cammidge Trophy?
Yeah, I'm with you on Marshman, mate. I'm also doing a Dutch here as well, and a distance winner Marshman. Have you gone into it there? Won 2 of his last 3 starts and finished 2nd of 11 last month at Southall, beaten half a length behind Clarendon House as the beaten favourite there as well. I've 15 to 8 favourite. He's off a similar mark here, 110 for trainer Carl Burke and Clifford Lee in the saddle. I think he can go well at around 7 to 2. And my other one for the Dutch is James's Delight for trainer Clive Cox, who finished the season really well last season. Ross Ryan's in the saddle here as well, taking the ride for the first time. He's had the likes of Ryan Moore and Mikel Barcelona on him on his backside in the last, and highly tried for Paul and Claire Rooney. He was last seen at Ascot on the Champion Sprint Stakes, finishing 8th of 20. Beaten 4.5 lengths behind Kind of Blue. Ran well that day, really, and not disgraced 4.5 lengths. And I think James's Delight can go head to head with Marshman here, and hopefully one of the two coming out on top in that Cammidge Trophy. On to the big one then. 3:35 at Doncaster. William Hill Lincoln Class 2 Handicap over a mile. What's going to win the Lincoln, Ben?
Well, quick look at the draw and pace first for Lincoln. It doesn't look a huge amount of early pace angles, to be fair. Thunder Run from stall 19 might be the most likely one to try and lead. Maybe Orn from stall 4. Only other 2 that might be prominent look to be Midnight Gun in 13 and Old Cock in 14. So maybe a small potential for the pace to slightly favour those drawn middle to high. Not something you could be too confident about, though. On the race trend side of things, nothing overly strong. Though 10 of the last 12 winners did fit the following. Had their last UK or Irish start at least 135 days previous. Were between £1 and £8 higher than their last winning mark. No more than 26 UK or Irish clear starts, and had between 3 and 10 starts in the last 365 days. That would reduce the field to less than half. Using those trends as my starting point, I have a Lincoln shortlist of Thunder Run, Native Warrior, and Latam. Thunder Run is one of the least exposed in the race, alongside Old Cock, both having only 6 previous starts to their name. Thunder Run was last seen finishing 4th in the Balmoral Handicap at Ascot on Champions Day. That was a huge effort from him, as that's a hard race for a 3-year-old to win. Even more so, one with only 5 previous starts in the bank, and the soft ground that day, which was actually riding closer to very soft, according to Proform's adjusted going figures, that wouldn't have been to his liking. So I'll be marking up that Balmoral Handicap effort plenty on the bare form. The fact he's able to run off the same mark of 100 here is a big bonus for the horse. I suspect he's still got a decent bit to play with on the handicap in front. So I get why Thunder Run is near ahead of this market, and I'd be surprised if he wasn't there or thereabouts at the business end of this race. And Native Warrior also comes here as an unexposed type. This is only his 8th career start. He caught my eye when winning his side of the track, or the draw, in the Britannia Stakes at Royal Ascot in the summer. Backed that up with a close second at Glorious Goodwood. Were disappointing over this course and distance in September, and that effort's a niggle for sure, just in case it's a track that made him underperform. But he is a horse that interests me this season, so I think his mark of 93 looks one he should definitely be winning from. And Latam was the other on my shortlist, and he was actually my selection in the race last year. He ran a massive race in second from what turned out to be a poor draw. He's only £2 higher this year. And he was last seen finishing second in that Balmoral Handicap at Ascot with Thunder Run back and forth. He's a horse that has run well off a break in the past. He's 3 wins in 2 seconds from 6 starts off breaks of 60 days or more. His best form generally comes in the first part of the year. His form in the March to July period reads 4 wins and 2 seconds from 8 starts, and I expect Latam to be ready to fight again this season, first time up, from what hopefully looks a decent enough draw in stall 12. Of that 3, I do find it hard to get away from Thunder Run. I think 6-1 looks a decent enough price for him, but it might be a little shorter than that. So I'm happy to play Thunder Run, and I'll also play Latam again. He was unlucky last year with the draw, but hopefully that won't be an issue this time around, and he looks worth a crack at 11-1 or bigger. So Thunder Run and Latam for me. Tony, what you got for the Lincoln?
I've got 5 here for you, but quickly down to 2, to be honest with you. I've got Galeron, the top weight for Charles Hills. That's been running in South Africa, I think, Australia. Randwick. Randwick's Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Australia. And
Australia.
It's come. What used to be with Charles Hills, and then he's sent it over to Oz, and then it's come back. But Galeron, I'll have to have a closer look on it on the day. Dual Identity also catches my eye, and Godwinson as well. Godwinson for trainer William Haggis and Kieran Fallon in the saddle there. But the 2 I'm going for is Toy My Son for David Menuzier and Warren Fentiman. The aforementioned Warren Fentiman in the saddle, claiming £5. He was last seen on Champions Day in the Balmoral Handicap, finishing 6th of 20, 5.5 lengths behind Carry the One at around 9-1. Oisin Murphy was on his back that day, finishing 6th of 20. Over a mile, I think he can go well here. Toy My Son, who won at Glorious Goodwood, actually won the Golden Mile last year, obviously on good to firm ground. That was beating 15 rivals by 2 lengths. So I think that could be interesting. He has gone up £9 since that win with previous runs at Goodwood and Newmarket and his last run at Ascot. But Toy My Son can go well at a decent price as well, around 20 to 1, Toy My Son, with Warren Fenterman in the saddle. And my other one is Latam. I do fancy Latam here, Ben, and I'm with you all the way on your write-up and what you said about him. Julie Camacho, Ryan Sexton in the saddle, last seen in the Balmoral Handicap, finishing second of 20, beaten 2 lengths, and was indeed second in this race 12 months ago. So will be, I think he'll be firing tomorrow on Saturday with Ryan Sexton again in the saddle off just a £2 higher mark as well that he finished second behind Mr. Professor last year. So Latam at around 12s, I think that's far too big. And my other one is Toy My Son at around 20 to 1. Right, it's football time.
Thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, GeeGeez peeps, man.
Yes, time for round 32. Top, middle and bottom. An update on the current state of play, please, Ben. Week 32.
No winners for me last week, -4 return. Just one winner for you, Tony, also -4 return. So current totals, me plus 23.48, Tony -40.86. This week, my
40.
top, middle and bottom is top Partick Thistle to beat Morton at 7 to 5. Partick are on a good run just now. Unbeaten in 5, only conceded twice in those 5 games. Kept a clean sheet in their last 3, and I'll take them to edge out Morton in this one. So Partick at the top, middle, Alloa to beat dodgy Dumbarton at 3 to 4. Things getting tight here for the final playoff place. Alloa have just slipped a little in recent games, although they've been tight matches against some of the top teams, and they'll surely see this as a game to get themselves back on track. Dumbarton have only won twice on their 14 away matches, so Alloa for the win here. And bottom, Bonnyrigg Rose to beat Elgin City at 6 to 5. Bonnyrigg haven't been in the best of form recently, but New Dundas Park hasn't been a happy hunting ground for Elgin City. They've lost on their last 4 visits here, so I'm going to plump for Bonnyrigg Rose to stop the rot with a win here. And that gives me a top, middle and bottom of top, Partick, middle, Alloa, bottom, Bonnyrigg Rose. Tony, what you got?
I've gone for a couple of the same games as you this week here, Ben. Morton and Partick Thistle to draw at 21 to 10. And this has got a tight game written all over it. Morton unbeaten in 4 and Partick Thistle unbeaten in 5. And I'll side with the draw here at 21 to 10. The middle, Cove Rangers to beat Arbroath at 23 to 10. 2 evenly matched teams here. Both unbeaten in the last 4. So I'm going for the value option in this, and Cove Rangers for the win at 23 to 10. And Bonnyrigg Rose and Elgin City to draw at 12 to 5. Neither of these teams have been at the best in the past couple of months. So I'll take Bonnyrigg and Elgin to fight out a draw here. And possibly a bore draw of 0-0. 12 to 5, Bonnyrigg Rose and Elgin City to draw. Cove Rangers to beat Arbroath at 23 to 10. And Morton and Partick to draw at 21 to 10. Cheers for that, Ben. And many thanks for listening to the latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Very best luck with your bets at Donny this weekend, and you can catch me over on 3B's Radio every morning, Monday to Friday. You can catch more from Ben over on narrowinthefield.co.uk, and we'll see you next week for our Grand National Show. Fantastic, the biggest race in the world, and possibly the most people that got into racing because of this race. So Grand National Week next week. Thanks very much for joining us, Ben.
Cheers, Tony.
Cheers, everybody. See you all again next week.